With €1, I got 100 rupees. Yesterday it was 306 or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why? So I think that the future will be very good for Pakistan. It's going to be tough now for a couple of months, especially for poor people. Every time this message about, financially collapsing Pakistan, something like that, goes to international media, a lot of companies, for example, keep thinking that, okay, we can't go there because it's collapsing, right?
Of course.
And by the end of the day, we all know that there's two economies in this country. Yeah. The one which is collapsing.
And the real one.
And one is... we were laughing during last week. I was in Karachi. Show me the recession in Karachi.
No.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
All the restaurants are full booked. Streets are full of cars.
Yes.
It's
even Islamabad, right? If you go to the elite parts of Islamabad, it's full, right? Nothing has changed. Right?
Somebody's having money.
Yeah, somebody has the money.
What I said in the beginning, the real level of hospitality, I have to take care of that person, and that's the best thing in this country.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to another episode of How Does It Work, a podcast by Pro Pakistani. We have a very special guest today, Wille Eerola. Am I saying it right?
Pretty close. Enough.
Okay, good. Right. Thank you. He's the Honorary Consul General from Pakistan to Finland. You're also looking after the Finland-Pakistan Business Council. So firstly, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit about, let's start with, how did you end up here?
To Pakistan?
Yeah.
20 years ago, I got a call from my former colleague from London, from WPP, so a big marketing communication company. So Derek called me and asked me that, can I give you a phone number to Pakistan? And I said, well, no one ever called me. And then 30 minutes after that, I got a call from Pakistan. And that was the starting point for this love affair with Pakistan for the last 20 years.
So you were working in advertising. Who called you from Pakistan?
Mr. Karim Ramal, who was the president of J. Walter Thompson in Karachi and vice president of J. Walter Thompson in New York.
Okay. And you were working in advertising?
Yeah, so I work for WPP, who owns J. Walter Thompson.
Okay.
And many others.
And then he called you asking for some help on a creative campaign? Or?
No, he asked my help. There was let's go back in 20 years. So that was a time when the mobile phone license bidding was going on, which then eventually our Norwegian friends won, and Telenor started the business, I think, 2005.
And when was the first time you visited Pakistan?
2004.
2004. And how was that experience?
Well, I think it's, let's be honest, 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
It was very different. Right? So my first experience was that I landed 6 o'clock in the morning. It was hot like hell in June, and there was only two blonde guys in the plane. And so I didn't know anything, and I obviously, the funny part is that like a week before I left, my wife said that, is it safe? And I said, yeah. Karim said it's safe, and Karachi and all that kind of stuff. And then a few days before I actually boarded, we had a CNN on, and there was breaking news, but it was a car bomb in Karachi. and then when I landed, I was obviously not scared, but a little bit, what's going to happen?
Of course.
And so then, first of all, that news clip on CNN, that was a car bomb, one car in pieces in some sandy road in Karachi. Where's the sandy road in Karachi? I don't know what the location was. But then I landed, and I still don't know why the city was so quiet. There was no one.
Karachi?
Yeah, there was no one from airport to Marriott. It was really like a dead.
Wow.
I don't know why.
And Karachi is never dead.
Yeah, but that morning it was. So, but then I ended to Marriott and realized that, that's actually, these people are super nice, because what you have, the best thing you have in Pakistan is that natural hospitality, not the trained one, like a natural. And so maybe like 6 hours after I arrived to Marriott, everyone knew my name and everybody's asking all the time. So that was the point that I kind of found out that I've been cheated about Pakistan, and I started my one-man mission to change the image.
Okay.
That was the thing.
Wow. So you decided on your first trip that Pakistan was a place you wanted to come back to and something you wanted to sort of work with.
I decided in 7 hours.
Okay.
So because the reality that the kind of reality check that you had was so far away from your expectations, and it was like this.
And then how many times have you come to Pakistan since? How regularly do you visit?
Hundreds.
Okay.
So there was a time that I was here maybe every 6-4 months. Now, for example, after COVID, I have been here every month.
Every month?
Every month, and every month like 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
So
and you come here for work. What sort of relationships have you sort of been working on? Are you working on this full time now, or do you still work in?
No. Okay. So being Honorary Consul General,
Yeah.
The honorary means free, right? So that one hat I have. So I am. Obviously, there's no embassy of Pakistan in Finland yet. Let's see what's going to happen. So I'm helping the embassy, which is located in Sweden. We do whatever happens in Finland. Then I have another hat, which is the Finland-Pakistan Business Council chairman. In that role, I help a lot of Finnish companies to come here. And that's why, for example, right now I have those almost 20 Finns with me here. And then I have the third hat, which is that I have that my business side. Which is, let's see, in the next coming weeks, having something to do with Pakistan as well.
And what sort of Finnish companies have come to Pakistan, and how have they found working here?
Okay, we have some of the big companies like the Wärtsilä energy technology company. There's still 5% of the electricity in this country is produced with their generators because every textile company has one. And they have been here for, I think, over 30 years. Okay. And they also have like 400 people working here. So that's one part. Then obviously Nokia is still here. Not the Nokia mobile phones anymore, but the network. I think if we would put the phones on right now, we would be using the Nokia network technology. So that's like the traditional technology side. Then we have a lot of energy companies, energy technology companies, which are on a new side, which is like biogas production or waste to energy production. So that's what Finns are good. So Finns are good in two things: technology and education. And then the education part is also very, very big. So right now, what we have, 10 people from education sector in this country with me. So we have been doing teachers training. There has already been joint diploma, technical and skill training, and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty large scale of companies. Anything from those big corporations like 10 billion turnovers to small SMEs who are trying to find something to buy for Pakistan.
And when they sort of arrive here and start working here, how have they found that experience? And what's do you see this increasing over the next few years?
It has increased a lot now after COVID. So the interest has never been so high, I would say.
Oh, really?
In at least in 20 years that I have been working with Pakistan. So after the COVID, I think a lot of companies realized that, okay, we need to find new markets as well. And it's really funny how unknown the Pakistani market is. I mean, seriously. So in the beginning of my love affair with this country, I always used to say that, okay, the image of Pakistan is negative. But nowadays, I just say that there's no image. The awareness is zero, right? And because by the end of the day, it's better because you don't have to kind of fight against those images. Yeah. You just start from the scratch.
Yeah, at least it's nothing bad.
Yeah, right? So it's good. I think that's so. The awareness of Pakistan is increasing rapidly, and there's a lot of interest, and its interest is just growing. And also one thing is that Finland closed the embassy in Islamabad 2012. So for 10 years, it was me and my buddy here who we kept the Finnish and Pakistani flags up in this country for 10 years. Only because I realized that when the embassy was closed, all the diplomatic bilateral relations built in 60 years would be gone, wipe out in a second.
Why did they close the embassy?
Budget cut was the official reason that time. So 2012 they closed Venezuela, Pakistan and Philippines, and now Pakistan and Philippines are already back.
Okay.
Venezuela is, we know what's happening in Venezuela. But yeah, so also because of that, there's the new ambassador moved to Islamabad 1st of October last year. So it's back. That also has obviously an effect on Finnish companies. That
of course.
There's something going on because Finland reopened the embassy.
And is there any sort of business that Pakistan can do with Finland? So we've been looking at, obviously, the dollar is exploding, and there's a lot of questions right now about what can Pakistan do, IT outsourcing, just exports, right? What can we export? Is there anything Pakistan can sort of send to Finland?
How many hours we have? so okay, let's start this way. Pakistan is exporting a lot of stuff without added value.
What do you mean?
My favorite example, the pink Himalaya salt.
Of course, yeah.
You're selling for free.
For free?
Basically for free. I think the highest part of the price is the transportation cost. It really goes for free. I mean, I can't even. I don't know what the price is, but it's.
But it's like blowing up over here, isn't it?
Yeah. So okay, let's take an example. The salt is taken to Europe. And then it's the European companies who are actually creating the brands and adding the value, doing the packages and all that kind of stuff. So my favorite example that everyone who knows me have been hearing this for the last 10 years is that the companies are from Italy, France, Finland, Sweden, whoever are actually doing that. So you go to Finland to supermarket and there's like 30 different kind of packages of the Himalaya salt. Nothing is coming from Pakistan there. Or even the plastic bag one is the cheapest one.
Yeah.
It's packed in Finland. Okay, you go to the top range. There's an Italian small like a plastic grind, like a salt mill, and it has a very bold letters, Prodotto d'Italia, so Italian product, and tricolori colors and everything. And on the other side, it says in very small letters, original product. We obviously in the European Union you have to have that. So original product, Pakistan. Okay, it's Italian. Why it's not Pakistani? It's Italian, and the price is of that product like 80 euros per kg.
Wow. Do you think it's because we can't like build brands as Pakistanis? Is that the issue?
I think I see you could. It's not about skill. I think it's about attitude. So there has been traditionally you sell rice. You sell, for example, in Finland there's a white label. Rice for one of the biggest retailers, and on the bottom of the box it says PK or I. That comes from Pakistan or India.
Yeah.
So why don't you do that? Where's the Pakistani rice brand, for example, or where are the
textile, right? Like we do leather goods,
and why you are not doing gels or something of all the fruits you're having? Why you ask? Because we tried 3 times to take fresh mangoes from Pakistan to Finland, and that doesn't work.
Right.
Because first of all, it's very sensitive, the food itself, for transportation.
It's perishable, yeah.
And then you take it to Finland. Finns, they only buy perfect. If you buy a banana, there can't be not a one spot.
Yeah.
Try to get the Pakistani mango to Finland. There's no spots.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. So then the question is, okay, what you could do of this mango, like something. Now maybe I'm giving a free idea to someone now. Just one example. A lot of people in Scandinavia, they buy like mango or other fruits which are frozen, like in small cubes.
Yeah.
Because they do these movies, right? So where's that product from Pakistan? Why? So I think it's about branding, but most of all it's about understanding what's happening in that market you're trying to take your stuff into. Because like my good friend who is originally from Pakistan, lives in Finland, he always keeps saying that you have to understand what Finns are thinking and how they're thinking. And you have to have that understanding. Then you create whatever product you might have in mind. And then you go. It doesn't work like that, okay, I'm sure the Finns will buy it, and then you come and you do that. So, and I think that the Scandinavian market, Finns maybe especially, we are very detail driven and also like very quality driven. So if you, even if the product would be kind of cheap, the quality has to be on
the higher side.
Yeah, and at least on certain level, right?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you think also there's there's so many things that we can export, and of course, like you said, product market fit is the problem. And also, I've noticed. I'm part of a company where my partners are not from here; they're from Romania. You know them as well.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, but the idea being, I have noticed there's very few companies where there's a Pakistani partner, and this is increasing actually with the certain companies in the United States and other places, but people from different ethnicities partnering with Pakistanis and then opening an organization, right? So let's say you give the mangoes example, right? Now you understand the local market, what they're eating. Do you think there's a room for that, and is that what the Business Council is about?
I think you're touching a very good point now. So if you really think that how businesses around the world, how they've been operating, how the businesses were actually born. It's a lot about understanding different areas, like different markets and so on. So I think that building that link between Pakistani and, for example, Finnish companies, that will create the understanding that it's not only about what's happening in Finland, right, but also what's happening here. So I am a big believer in personal contact and network, and that's why we do these events as well. Is that I don't believe that you would be able to get anyone from Finland to do anything with any Pakistani company or in Finland, I mean on a serious level, if you don't take those people here first.
Of course, they have to, seeing is believing.
You have to meet the people. You have to realize that you have a lot of well-educated, wonderful, reasonable business people, and then you're fine. But if you don't, it's like, then it's all about that Pakistani company might send you an email and asking something, and then in most of the cases, these Finnish companies are then asking me, is this a real company or is this a fake, right? So that's the only way. So get people to know each other. This has been my message for years, and that's what you need. Honestly, we also have the next generation. I'm getting old, but you're still young and dynamic. So, but the next generation, you have the ability to think differently as well. That, for example, your father or grandfather, and mostly it's because of the technology, because of mobile phone and WhatsApp and internet and all that kind of stuff. And I think that we are now seeing the next level of Pakistani entrepreneurs and companies as well. Because think about it this way. How all the big industries in Pakistan, how they were born, how they were started. So decades ago, guys went abroad and saw, this is how you do butter, or this is how you do cement, or all that kind of stuff. And then you bought the equipment and started a business in Pakistan. We are now talking about the same thing, but you don't go to buy any big equipment anymore. It's all about technology transfer and knowledge transfer. That's what it's all about.
And in this particular context, when it comes to Pakistan and Scandinavia, there's also a lot of questions of, for example, our education system. And you brought up a point earlier about how a lot of the expertise in Finland is related to education and technology. Speaking about education, what can Pakistani universities do with Finnish education? How can there be a link there, and why do you think that would be beneficial?
Okay. I mean, I think those linkages should be on every level. I mean, from early childhood to basic school, like K-12, to skill and vocational side, and then academia, so university side. So talking about university, this has been on my table and in my talks for a very long time. So Pakistani universities should work with Finnish universities, especially on research. Why? First of all, that collaboration would create an access to global, like European Union or whatever, funding in terms of research, which you can't get without that partner in Finland. But secondly, you have, soon we're going to know how many, but 200 whatever million people, right? When the digital census is done, we're going to find out maybe it's 250.
Yeah, 300, who knows?
And we're all shocked. But anyway, so you have over 200 million people. We have 5.5 in Finland. So a lot of research, whether it's the medical research or society or behavior, whatever, could be done in Pakistan, absolutely total different way that you can do with 5.5 million people.
Of course.
And this is, really kicking people to make that happen this year, because I made it my personal agenda, which is that 23 will be the year of education in Finnish and Pakistani relations.
That would be fantastic, actually. And I feel like there's a lot of growth in that area needed, at least in Pakistan. In terms of, there's also another comparison often made actually on this podcast as well by a lot of people, where they talk about the Scandinavian model and how the Pakistani government, and you've known both governments and countries for 20 years now. So the Scandinavian model should be followed in Pakistan. This is a very buzzword headline that we keep saying. A lot of our politicians say it, a lot of our journalists say it. Do you think we could even follow the Scandinavian model? Because, like you said, there's 5.5 million people in Finland. There's 200 plus million people here. Could we get to a sort of Scandinavian model?
I don't know. Maybe you could, but it's obvious. It's very challenging.
Yeah.
Because I think you should start to change a lot of things like today, and maybe you would have that kind of Scandinavish plan or model in 60 years. I think the key issue is that obviously in Scandinavian countries everything is paid with the taxpayers' money, which means that you have to pay taxes. It means that you have to collect taxes. But then you have a lot of money coming, and then you have to have smart politicians who are not changing the policies all the time. That this is a plan. You stick with the plan. This has been in so many talks in Pakistan, whether it's about energy or whether about the education. So I just kept saying it to everyone, the biggest difference between Finland and Pakistan is, I know both societies very well. In Finland, you plan, sometimes over-plan, but you plan. And then another thing is when you plan, you stick with the plans.
Continuity.
So because, for example, if we would not have this energy issue in Pakistan, if we would have made a decision 10 years ago or 20 years ago, make a plan and stick with that.
And do you, as an outsider, you've been coming here for 20 years now. We look at it with a very negative sentiment primarily because we're in it, right? Do you see it getting better or do you see it getting worse?
Oh, this is so funny subject because, guys, we always keep complaining and you want to complain, right? You have to have, all this political drama.
Yeah.
In my 20 years, there's so much positive development in this country. I mean, so much. And, think about Islamabad, for example. Okay. Think about 10 years, how the city was.
Of course.
Think about how many nice places you have nowadays. We'll have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good changes, right?
It's insane, yeah.
So the change, the challenges when talking about right now, these are all man-made problems somewhere. It's for last year it has been wonderful excuse to blame Ukraine war for everything. Why Ukraine doesn't have anything to do with Pakistan, basically. Okay, a lot of your wheat came from Russia and Ukraine, but otherwise this is all a global man-made problem for whatever reason, and obviously it has a strong effect on countries like Pakistan. And so why are you losing all the value of your rupees? Why? I'm not an economist, but I don't get that point by the end of the day. So think this way. For years and years and years, every time I came here, I kind of knew the price level because with €1, I got 100 rupees. Yesterday it was 306 or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Why? So I think that the future will be very good for Pakistan. It's going to be tough now a couple of months, especially for poor people because the price of food is high and all that kind of stuff. And this, I think, I'm not involved with the politics in any country that I live, but I think in Pakistan, if the politicians would be smart now, they should just calm down everything and make sure that people, especially the poor people, are fine. Because we don't want to see revolution, right? We don't want to see something that happened in Sri Lanka, for example, because that will be the last thing we really need in this position,
especially for economic prosperity in the future. Yeah,
and so I think it's going to be rough ride for some time, but then it's going to be better. And I think this is linked something that. I don't really like because I've been using so much my money and time to keep that image of positive image of Pakistan. Is that every time this message about financially collapsing Pakistan, something like that, goes to international media, a lot of companies, for example, keep thinking that, okay, we can't go there because it's collapsing, right?
Yeah, of course.
And by the end of the day, we all know that there's two economies in this country. Yeah. The one which is collapsing.
And the real one.
And one is... we were laughing during last week. I was in Karachi. Show me the recession in Karachi.
No.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
All the restaurants are full booked. Streets are full of cars.
Yes.
It's
even Islamabad, right? If you go to the elite parts of Islamabad, it's full, right? Nothing has changed. Tim Hortons did a worldwide sale of the highest in the world in the recession. So I mean, clearly we have the money to buy a coffee, right?
Somebody's having money.
Yeah, somebody has the money. So you mentioned something right now which I thought was interesting. You mentioned how you were funding. Was this last 10, 15 years self-funded, or is this a sort of a government initiative from Finland or from Pakistan?
No government money.
This is all your money.
It's all had been my money and private money. So private companies obviously supporting. And I've now, for example, the event we have on Monday and Wednesday in Pakistan. So we have some of the big and a little bit smaller Pakistani and Finnish companies supporting that operations. But even those events, we do non-profit. So we are not looking for any non-profit. Usually means that I pay the rest with my credit card when I'm leaving the hotel. But I know this is very strange, and people keep asking me why I'm doing this.
Yeah, like what's your end goal?
I want. This is not reality. This is not marketing because I'm not running a political campaign. Because of my starting point, I realized the cheating part in terms of the image of the country, and I made the decision that I'm going to change it as much as I can. So I'm doing all of this only because I know that Pakistan could and would and will have a wonderful future, and the current situation isn't something that this country and your people actually deserve. You deserve better, and if there's anything I can do, like now bringing the cool Nordic wind from very snowy Finland to Islamabad through these companies who are with me, then I'm going to do that. So I want to bring things which are supporting basically your mindset, because this is a big thing. Right now, because of the recession and economic challenges, half of you are in the mindset that, it's not going to be good. And, as we know, a lot of people are dreaming about leaving the country and moving abroad. Yeah. That's the worst thing you can see.
Yeah. No, there's a exodus, right? Everybody who can is trying to get out.
Yeah. And that's a seriously bad thing. So that happens all the time. So in Finland it happens especially like 1960s and 1970s because there were no industrial jobs. So a lot of people left, for example, the west coast or eastern part of the country to Sweden. Because you just moved from Finland to Sweden, even that you couldn't speak any Swedish, you got a job in the next morning. So it's the same thing. It's human being behavior.
Of course.
If you need a job, you need the money, you go, right?
But you believe that, or you see in your mind that there's an economic opportunity here, and there's a large bits of that is just basically mismanagement, things that we can sort of improve on, continuity in government, business practices, etc. How many of these conferences so far have you done?
This is actually the one in Islamabad on Monday. That's the 10th one.
10th one.
And Karachi will be 11th one because now we do 2 cities because all my friends in Karachi have been complaining about the Islamabad part. But yeah, so we started at 2012 when the Embassy of Finland was closed. So December 2012 we did first one in Finland. And then we started to do this and that. And then we did here 2014, 15, 16, 17 in row every year. Then 2018, the political situation was what it was before the election. And it's always a pretty bad image of a country to Scandinavia. The prime minister is put in jail and for whatever reason, because for us it's like,
what the hell's going on?
So 2018 we waited and then now last summer I said that, okay, I don't really care about what's happening in politics. So that I believe that Pakistani companies and Pakistanis, you deserve the support that I can bring from Finland. Whatever it will come out, that's not my work. I just connect the dots.
And what do you think is the biggest achievement so far of the council? What's something that you're very proud of that you'd say, okay, yeah, that's fantastic?
I think I'm very proud. I'm sure that when anyone from the Finnish foreign ministry will hear this, some of the people don't like this, but I'm saying that after all the work we did during the 10 years that the embassy was closed, and eventually the embassy was reopened, and we have Finland has wonderful ambassador in town now. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of that 10 years
maintaining that relationship.
That we kept going. So you can't even imagine how many people said to me that you can't do that. You won't get the Finnish companies to come and all that kind of stuff. And we did that. That's the part I'm very, very happy. And then let's see what's going to happen in the next decade. Now the embassy is reopened. And
hopefully all of these steps will be worth something very tangible in the future. I won't take up too much more of your time. I'll ask you a couple of last questions, completely not related to business. Outside of work and outside of the economic opportunity of Pakistan, what is the thing you dislike about Pakistan the most?
What I dislike? I think that this is more like a fundamental thing, fundamental difference between Finns or Scandinavians and Pakistanis is that it's a little bit linked to that planning as well. That here surprises are part of your
daily schedule,
and it's part of your DNA.
Yeah,
and so this sometimes is a little bit stressful, as you know. It's not only for me; it's only for you guys, right?
For everyone.
And I don't know what I dislike so much. Obviously, it's like
we had someone on the show. He said he was also not from Pakistan. He said, for example, driving here.
It's like, but obviously, if you compare the traffic in Karachi, you compare that to any big city in Africa or Asia, it's the same.
Yeah. What about what's the thing you like the most about Pakistan?
I think that what I said in the beginning, the real level of hospitality, that's something that you can't train. It's in your DNA. And I tell you this very funny thing. So I have one Finn with me. Who, against all my rules, he walked out from a hotel yesterday. I was like, and all his colleagues were shocked, and where is this guy? So he basically just walked out from Serena and started to walk around the city and went to the market and so on.
Wow.
And in the evening he got back. And so we were all like, where did he go? I said, I just walk there and, I had the coffee with people and people were, sharing the bread with him and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So I'm still saying that, people should not go and on their own to walk around, but obviously in Islamabad you can. But this is, again, a wonderful thing. Then he even said there was kids playing cricket on some lawn. He just stopped there. And then, ball came to him and he threw the ball back. And so the person who was with the kids came to him and asked, where are you from? And he said, I'm from Finland. Oh, I was just in Finland 1 month ago, and started to show pictures of, I think,
that's crazy.
like a Pakistani tennis team who was in Finland.
Oh, wow.
And something like that. So that's what I'm saying. This is your absolutely biggest advantage in this world. It's because of you, because of your mindset, because of you, all that kind of, that, you have to see the foreigner, I have to take care of that person. And that's the best thing in this country. Absolutely best thing. And in addition to that funny part, which we don't have at all, is that you might tell me that if I mention one name and you said, "Oh, yeah, that's my third cousin," I said, I don't even know who my third cousin is. I might have one, but I don't know. So this I know this is also driving you crazy sometimes, but this family setup, it's wonderful.
Yeah, we're one big, large, 200 million plus family. Unfortunately or fortunately.
Maybe 300 million.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast. This was an absolute pleasure. Thank you guys for watching. If you like our content, please do subscribe to our channel, and we will see you for the next.